The Underdark is a subterranean ecosystem that exists below Faerun in the Forgotten Realms. Now, it's a popular go-to for adventurers because, well, it's dark, it's spooky, and throughout mythology, monsters tend to lurk in caves. Your players already have an idea that caves are dangerous, well, probably. If you are running a underground D&D game, it fulfills the dungeon part of Dungeons & Dragons, and if you want to, the dragon part can be fulfilled very, very easily. Now, Forgotten Realms has the Underdark, but Eberron has something far more interesting. Khyber, the dragon below. This video is sponsored by the Gaussahedron 20-sided dice evolved Kickstarter. And hey, you probably like dice. I mean, I like dice. You're interested in those new kind of math rocks that are shiny. Now, the Gaussahedron is a d20 whose probability is not a 1 in 20 chance for each face of the die, but rather the probability is on a bell curve. Now, you can see on this graph that a traditional 1d20 has a 5% chance for any number on the die, but let's say you roll 2d12. You will have a higher chance to roll the number 13 than rolling the number 24. And that's the idea behind this 20-sided dice, that certain numbers have a higher probability and it's on a bell curve. So there you go. The Gaussahedron is a unique die for enthusiasts and dice collectors. Check out the Kickstarter today by clicking the link in the description. Hello everybody, Jordan here. The PH is silent and caves are dark. There is no light underground. Humans have evolved to fear the dark, to fear the threat that they can't see. A predator, after all, might be lurking in the shadows, just waiting to devour you. The fear of the unknown has become instinctual, and it's become the basis for much of our mythology and fairy tales. There aren't many fairy tales where something good is living in a cave, waiting for you to pass by and help you. Now, it only makes sense that these tropes of monsters and caves and things that go bump in the night have made their way into our storytelling games of Dungeons & Dragons. What is the difference between Eberron's Khyber, the dragon below, and the Forgotten Realms Underdark? Well, let's start with the Underdark and what makes the Underdark the Underdark. Well, the Underdark isn't just a cave in a mountain, but it is the interconnected ecosystem of creatures that live there. It's an extensive realm with creatures that are native to the Underdark, but also native to Faerun. The Underdark is a part of Faerun, a part of Toril. Now, there might be evil aboleths or creatures that are extraplanar that have made their home in the Underdark, but there are also those creatures that are part of Faerun and live in the Underdark. Another thing is the Underdark is mappable. Geology can change, obviously, but generally there is a reliable path to static destinations within the Underdark. Khyber is not mappable in the same sense that the Underdark is on Faerun. Creatures that are native to Khyber are not part of Eberron. They're not part of the prime material plane. They are the children of the dragon below. Within the lore of Eberron, all natives of Eberron know the story of the progenitor dragons. Khyber, evil personified, killed Sybaris, and Eberron intervened only to realize that she could not defeat Khyber. Now, knowing this, Eberron wrapped herself around Khyber and imprisoned her. Khyber became the dragon below, and Eberron became the planet itself. And I want you to remember that, because Eberron is not a story of good conquering evil, but of good containing evil. Now, that primitive fear humans have of the dark, of the unknown, Khyber more accurately represents that. Khyber is not the Underdark. It's not the subsurface of Eberron. Khyber is the location all evil comes from, and it's right under your feet. Now, from a mechanical game perspective, for all you dungeon masters out there, Khyber represents thousands of demiplanes that are pitted up against the surface of Eberron. These demiplanes might come and go, entrances might appear and disappear. Some are believed to be very consistent, but those ones also seem to move a few miles every 100 years. Now, these pits into Khyber, they house terrible demons. They hold evil artifacts, mutated gnomes, or the Negaverse. Now, Keith Baker has a good quote about Khyber from an article he wrote in Dragon Magazine issue 414. Walk through the typical cave and you'll find what you expect to find. The slick rock, stalagmites, stalactites, molds and insects, but there is more to Khyber than mundane matter. The proper passage in Khyber can take you to the abyss, or to the furnaces of Furnia. Now, when Khyber was first bound by Eberron, in an attempt to break free, she unleashed hordes of fiends onto the landscape. And this became known as the Age of Demons, where the children of Khyber walked the planet. Large, fiendish overlords ruled all. They were the most powerful fiends ever, equivalent to that of a demon lord or an archdevil. Now, it was during this time that the deeds of great heroes were cataloged and became the basis for the modern mythology of the sovereign host. All hope was lost until the Coatls sacrificed themselves and used that energy to rebind the demons into Khyber. When giving their lives, the energy they used became known as the Silver Flame. The Age of Demons ended, but they were never defeated, they were just trapped below the surface. Again, evil was not conquered, evil was contained. So is Khyber a plane of existence? Could you just take the lower half of the Great Wheel, flip it upside down, and there's Eberron on the surface? Perhaps. But Khyber is really the word used as a catch-all for understanding the danger and the fear of things that go bump in the night. If a local says to you that a creature of Khyber came up out of a cave, you will instantly know that it wasn't a bat. The material laws of Eberron won't necessarily apply in Khyber, so some demiplanes can defy the laws of physics. There might be demiplanes that are much larger than what could plausibly be underground. For example, the cult of the dragon below, who attempt to worship Khyber, they believe that there is an interior sun at the heart of the planet. Indeed, deep within a specific demiplane, there is a location known as the Veil of the Inner Sun, an extremely large demiplane that houses a great ball of color-changing light. Dimmer than the sun, but bright enough that there still is no night in this veil. Monsters live here, and creatures that could be considered humanoid once live here. Mutated humans, orcs, and dwarves who absorbed too much of the light and became something terrible. The light is said to give creatures long life that is free of disease. You no longer need to eat or drink, but they cannot leave. They cannot have children, and they will constantly war with others. Now, separately, I enjoy the Underdark and Khyber. However, with Eberron and Khyber, I feel like there is more potential. The original human fear of the dark, of the unknown, is brought back with Khyber. A monstrosity that describes logic could be sleeping a few feet below your house. And what Lovecraftian horror will stir when they start digging their new well. Thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you so much to our sponsor, Gausahedron. Please check out their Kickstarter for the Gausahedron D20. Links down below. I'm excited to start a home Eberron game soon. It's going to be a lot of fun researching this going forward. I hope your Khyber excursions are interesting and deadly. See you in the next video.